Hi everyone, welcome and thank you for spending time with me. Today is the 4th of July and a very auspicious day in at least two countries. It is Independence Day in America and the British are out voting today, a day which signifies freedom in so many ways. Freedom of movement, freedom of speech, freedom of association, religion, etc., etc. The Human Rights Charter, Article 11, reads, "Everyone charged with a penal offence has the right to be presumed innocent until proven guilty according to law in a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defence." And it is because of the freedoms we enjoy. Even voting is a freedom. The freedom to express your opinion and exercise your opinion and rights. So, with all of that being said, what the heck is going on with the Bryan Kohberger case? I am sickened by what is happening in this case. I have seen and heard conspiracy theories and imaginings in cases, made up stories and speculation. And God knows we all do it in our quest to find the truth and guessing at the reason or motive behind a crime. But I have never, ever seen a travesty of justice as I have here. Never. And saying that, I honestly do not profess that I know or even think Bryan Kohberger is 100% innocent. Because unlike with many other cases where I have made up my mind fairly early on, I truly do not know what to think in this case. And where in other cases one becomes more and more convinced of someone's guilt as time progresses, in this case I am becoming more convinced that it is a complete stitch-up. Goodness, I mean, of course I can't say it is. I'm saying it is what it feels like to me. First and foremost, law enforcement often refuses to share information with the public via the media in order not to taint the jury pool. Gag orders are placed on certain individuals like lawyers, court clerks, investigators, police, witnesses, etc., in order to maintain the integrity of the case. Yet, authors like Howard Blume is allowed to write and publish a book on the case which is a combination of fact and fiction, and which during his many promotional interviews he is, however, selling as being truthful and factual. How in the world is this allowed? How is it not against the Human Rights Charter? How is this not prejudice, creating a narrative which may not be true? And how or where did Howard Blume get his information if, according to his own admission, he did not speak to any of the family or investigators? Did he get his facts from YouTube videos or his own imagination? I don't know, but the fact that someone like Nancy Grace is actually supporting this is making me slightly bilious. No books or film should be allowed until the conclusion of a case, ever. Yes, there is indeed such a thing as freedom of speech, and of course we can speculate and discuss and wonder and weigh options, but to put something on paper and sell imaginings as fact should be libel, slander, and a human rights violation. Here are just a few simple errors in the book which likely proves that Howard Blume is ever so slightly off his rocker, in my opinion. Blume says Ethan was against the far wall, causing blood to seep through the wall. Yet, according to what we have seen so far, Ethan's body was by the bedroom door. I'm questioning this, I don't know. How could Bethany have seen Bryan Kohberger leaving the crime scene through the glass sliding door if her bedroom faces the front of the house. Christy Gonzales said Bethany and Dylan were texting during and after the murders. So how is that possible, seeing that Dylan was supposedly in a frozen shock phase? Previous occupants of the house said that the walls were paper thin and you could hear every footstep. So Dylan's room was directly under Maddie's room. How did she not hear a murder taking place? Blume says Hunter called 911 as soon as he got to the house, but he still does not explain the 8-hour delay. But let's take a step from Blume to the Gonzales family. I'm so sorry they lost a child. Sorry that it had to be in this way. No one, no parent deserves it. No decent, proper parent, no caring, loving parent. But once a parent oversteps the boundary, the fine line between what is decent and normal and what constitutes attention-seeking, fame and money, and once that fine line is crossed, it becomes very hard to feel that true empathy for the family. Instead, in some instances, one starts to replace that empathy with anger. And I'm sorry, but that is exactly how I am starting to feel about the Gonzales mom and dad Steve in particular. Now look, Blume may be lying. He does come across as being a little batty or cookie, but according to him, he had been approached by the lawyer for the Gonzales family wanting to discuss a movie deal. I mean, wow, just wow. And I turned green around the gills. Not a little, but a lot. In their last interview after the date for trial was set, Christy Gonzales, who now looks like an older version or caricature of Maddie with her new blonde hair, said that they just want it all to be over. They want the trial done and dusted so they can heal or move on, basically. Yet, they are considering collaborating on a movie. Are you kidding me? Are they insane? What kind of movie do they intend to create? A slasher movie? Who else want to jump out of the woodwork now and make money out of this tragedy? I mean, Ethan's mom have already been selling a book on the back of this tragedy. Yes, indeed. I mean, Stacey Chapin's book, The Boy Who Wore Blue, debuted in June 2023, a mere 7 months after his son's death. As someone who published before, I know it can take 3 to 6 months to get a book on the shelves. In less than 6 months, the Chapins have also set up Ethan's Smile Foundation. I mean, goodness, they have been busy bees, or at least Mom has, since their son passed away. And yes, I know people grieve differently, but in my opinion, this is not normal. I know I can be a little imaginative, but I'm also intuitive, and something about this case does not feel right. Something is off, and I just cannot quite put my finger on it. Where is Bryan's family? Yes, I know it is best for the accused family to stay out of the limelight and to be quiet. I mean, look at Asa Alarup and Chad Daybell's one daughter and the backlash they received. But I have this nagging feeling that there is some stinky stuff bubbling under the surface in the Kohberger family. Why is no one talking about Bryan's one sister visiting the crime scene with a camera anymore? What was she doing there? Why did she even want to be there? Howard Blume tells an entire story about Bryan Kohberger and his father's trip from Washington to Pennsylvania, from what the father thought to even what they talked about. Now, where did that come from, if not from Bryan's father? Because Blume did say that he did not speak to any of the parents. So, who did he speak to? Did he speak to Bryan Kohberger's sister? And tell me, why am I even entertaining the crazy notion that Bryan Kohberger's one sister is behind his arrest? Did she phone in a tip saying Bryan Kohberger drove a white Elantra? Well, someone did, because seeing that law enforcement did not have a tag number for the vehicle seen at the murder house, it is indeed a lie that a vehicle found in the Washington University parking lot was identified as the vehicle seen at the house and identified as Bryan Kohberger's vehicle. I mean, need I remind anyone that Bryan Kohberger's vehicle is not even within the range of models law enforcement told the public to look out for? And yes, my dears, there are differences, small differences, but the grills and the lights differ between the models visibly. So even that has not as yet been explained. Anyway, guys, the trial date has been set for June 2025, almost an entire year from now, and I'm practically sure that when Bryan Kohberger waived his right to a speedy trial, he did not imagine that he will sit in prison for nearly 3 years before his case is even heard. Yet another travesty of justice. Why so long? What are they hoping for? Are they hoping that something will pop out of the woodwork to prove Bryan Kohberger guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt? Or are they hoping that the public will lose interest so they can do whatever they want? What happened to Bethany Funk's exculpatory evidence? Are they hoping that she will leave the country? I mean, what are they hoping and waiting for? I do not understand it at all. Is Bryan Kohberger's life in danger? What happens if, after almost 3 years in prison, he is found not guilty? How will he get that time back? This case, my friends, is scary beyond the actual crime. Okay, now there's still a lot to be said about this case. I mean, it's just a case that keeps on giving and keeps raising questions. But this is it from me for today. So until we meet again on the next one, please take good care of yourselves. Bye.